All right, so congratulations to Francis Ngannou. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. But what I wanted to say that I don't see too many people saying is because a lot of people saying, "Oh, that was a boring fight," and Francis, all he did was wrestle. You're talking about somebody who he first off he started MMA late. I don't know how many of you have much MMA experience, but he started MMA late. He didn't even when he wanted to fight, he wanted to box, right? And he ended up learning MMA. He got in and he just had this extremely just tremendous power where he was just knocking guys out, right? Freak of nature. So his whole his whole fighting style was really just based off him knocking people out, right? Until he went against Stipe for the first fight and got out wrestled. When he got out wrestled by Stipe, shout out to Stipe, right? When he got out wrestled by Stipe, that's when he really became a champion because he understood that there was different elements to fighting, right? To mixed martial arts. It isn't just stand up. It isn't just kicking. It isn't just punching. It isn't just jujitsu. It isn't just wrestling. It's it's becoming a well-balanced, well-rounded fighter in every aspect. That's what truly makes a champion, and having a fight IQ high enough to know when to use those different elements in your strategy, right? And know when to, depending on who you're fighting, which style to use, how to apply that style, how much pressure to apply, when to apply it, right? As far as defense and so many different elements, right? So after he lost to Stipe the first time, that mentally put him in a different type of place. Not to mention after that, we see that when he goes against, I think it was Derek Lewis, and he lost the decision, but no one really threw a punch. But you could tell mentally, Francis was just in a different place. Like he was not. He was disturbed, right? He was disturbed from that loss. So Francis could have kept going down from there, right? He could have this guy could have kept going down. He goes to the gym. He trains even harder. He learns the fundamentals of wrestling. He gets back in there, starts knocking guys out again. Gets that respect back, right? Like, okay, he's not just gonna fall off. Like, he's back, he's here. He earns a title. He ends up fighting guys like Kane I cannot pronounce that last name. Velasquez. How do you pronounce that last name? Just he fights a lot of people. He knocks them out, right? So he earns a title. He fights Stipe again. Majority of people were leaning on the fact that Stipe's probably, especially after coming off two amazing wins against DC, they're thinking, okay, Stipe's probably going to beat Francis Ngannou, right? He's probably going to out wrestle him just like the first fight. It's probably going to play out the same. That was completely wrong. We seen Stipe try to wrestle. This time, what we seen that was different was we seen Francis, his mobility, his movement, his wrestling defense, his ability to get to the back way quicker. It was just completely different. Like he became a more well-rounded fighter, which ended up leading to him knocking Stipe out cold. Now he's finally the champion. This guy from Cameroon in Africa who grew up poor, right? He's now the champion. He started late. He didn't train his whole life, nothing like that. Boom. So now we got Ciryl Gane, is it? So they fight, right? Clearly, Ciryl Gane is the superior striker. The superior striker. Like to me, there was no way that Francis was just gonna go in there and just win off points just striking. No, excuse me. He would have had to get a knockout, right? He would have had to get a knockout. So Francis, we start noticing Francis starts slamming Ciryl. He starts slamming Ciryl, which Ciryl Gane has never been on his back before. This is another undefeated guy. Heavyweight. Never been on his back before. Francis puts him on his back. Francis is fighting off of an injury, right? I don't know, like I said, I don't know how much experience you guys have, but having an injury can be extremely detrimental to your mental strength alone, like to your confidence. He gets in there, he still fights, right? He's slamming, we're seeing a whole nother Francis. He's winning he knows how to, like, he's winning by the only way he really could have won at that point, which was to utilize his fight IQ and say, what am I doing wrong? Realize he could take this guy down and keep taking him down and kept taking him down. And eventually it led to a win. How could you be mad at that? How can you be mad at that? I don't know how many of you guys, like I said, have stepped in the octagon, a ring, or anything, but fight IQ is very important. Every fight's not going to be just in spectacular fashion, right? Every fight's not going to be, you're going to have off days. He's fighting off an injury, and to me, it wasn't even an off day at all. Like, you came in and you utilized a game plan, right? You seen what was going to work and what wasn't going to work against a superior, undefeated striker. The dude deserves his respect, man. Salute to Francis.